Hi everyone, I'm Phil from Driftworks and this is my 964 Turbo, now with added Borg Warner EFR8374. So if this is your first time watching us, thanks very much for checking us out and please consider subscribing to the channel. We've got a lot going on at the moment. Just quickly bring you up to speed with what I'm doing with this. So at the end of the handling problems video that I did, you probably heard the car making some quite loud noises on the test drive that I did. That is why. The HKS T04S is not very well at all, so I decided to upgrade to an EFR series 8374, which as you can see is a bit of a squeeze, but I've got it in with no serious modifications, no serious like chassis cuts or anything like that, just a bit of clearance here and there. I've got a bit more to do. But yeah, we've got everything in place. Oil feeds worked out, swapped for a banjo adapter there. Oil drain into the catch can is perfect. Again, just slotted holes, that's worked out. Converted to a 3.5-inch V-band, which is nicely flowed out. And now I'm just on to making the exhaust. So the car had a really nice exhaust on it, but it was really loud. Again, if you watched any of the videos of me driving this car with any in-car, you'll notice I always wear earplugs because it is deafening. And I have a lot of loud cars. For some reason, this is particularly loud and unpleasant. So I'm going to fit a 3.5-inch JetX box to it. It's only slightly bigger, but it'll flow nicer because this was 3-inch out of the turbo here, and then converted to 3.5-inch here, as this is 3.5-inch straight through, a bit more silencer, and just about is going to fit. Very hard to do with. And whilst holding the camera, this 1 second. So, going to sit something like that with clearance, obviously, and hopefully I'll be able to mount it up to this bracket nicely here, and then again there's a lot of hopefullys in this, but hopefully use the original piece that Promodet made, which is 3.5-inch anyway, so it'll work perfectly. And yeah, the tips are really nice on this, so that will end up something like that, somewhere there. So yeah, I need to shorten this down a little bit, take an accurate measurement, get the other half of the V-band welded to it, get a bracket made there so we can bolt it up, and then I'll work on that side. So I've got the silencer set up here in the world's noisiest tool, and just got it braced so it'll hold it reasonably. Don't think it's going to cut it quite far enough, but I'll probably be able to make do. I've had to level it all up and everything because the saw's not level. But yeah, done my best to make it square because I can't really have any angles on this because it'll hit the bumper support or it'll hit the manifolds or the bumper. So yeah, it needs to be pretty dead straight. Yeah, let's go. Pretty decent. So I've just got 3 tiny tacks on this because there's an extremely strong chance that it's not going to be in the right place. The tolerance for the actual silencer against this panel here and against the manifold here it's very fine. So I'm just going to offer this up in place and see where it hits. If it does, which it will. Just going to put a back bolt in the turbo to manifold. I've only got 2 in the front here. I want to make sure that it's completely level before I start worrying about tolerances at this end. And yeah, I have got a gasket in it as well. As expected, it's a bit tight at the top here. I've got a little bit of room at the bottom. So the angle of that needs changing ever so slightly. So I'll buzz off the top weld, see whether I can lever it into place with a shim or something, and then take it around again for another tack. It'd be a lot easier to do this obviously if I had some stainless wire in my MIG around here, but yeah, we'll have to do it the long way for today. That's how nice these V-bands are, the male-female type. Holds under its own weight and seals perfectly. So this is the male side, as you can see. So I'm just making sure that the turbo is properly centralised because there's lots of wiggle room between the turbo and the manifold quite often. And obviously whatever changes here changes massively at this end where the silencer is. So I'm just going to make sure it's in the middle of its wiggle. That's a technical term, wiggle. Where I feel is approximately the middle, and just do it up again. So to get it to sit how I want it, I'm actually going to have to angle that quite a fair bit. So I'm going to go and do that on the Linisher, world's most evil machine. If I can get that to stay there, that is absolutely perfect. So that's the silencer tacked in place, and it's perfectly aligned to create this bracket that I talked about earlier. But before I make anything too permanent and properly seam weld around that, I need to make sure that I can get the tip in exactly the right place. And I'm going to need to probably swap to one of my V-bands, which means I've got to chop that off, which is a bit of a shame, but you know. Right, before I get too carried away doing stuff and not filming it, I've just made this little tab here, which I've welded on here with mild steel. Yes, that's terrible. Craig's going to shout at me, but it's the only real way to do it in situ here and get it in the right place. And now all I've got to do is make something that doesn't fit as it did before. Right, as much as I really didn't want to do this, I've got to cut this off and put my own V-band section on it. So yeah, let's try and not mess it up too badly. Ta-da! Right, I'm going to attempt to tack one side of the V-band in place. It's quite nice that it's got, I don't know whether you can see there, a little recess in it. That means that it plonks straight over. Let's find its home. There you go. Becoming increasingly difficult to do this with the camera in place, so I might have to skip forward a bit now. Apologies. Can just quickly show you my amazing jig though, just to hold this in place. It's got to match the other side. This one's adjustable and this one will be to a certain extent as well. But yeah, I just want to get it sitting as close as possible. So actually I got a broken gearbox jack, which has a nice little bit of angle to it, which is giving the perfect amount of angle compared to the other one. So yeah, like I say, probably got to put the camera away for a second, so hopefully we'll magically come back to an exhaust that fits. Okay, I've done my best pigeon shit welding. Time to get it all round to Mr. Taylor and see whether he can make it look pretty. What I'm probably going to do is get him to do some pretty strong welds away from the dirty mild steel MIG that I've used, and then once those are firmly attached, I'll buzz this all off and clean it up so there's no mild steel left in it, hopefully. Master Taylor's going to attempt to not warp the shit out of my dodgy fabrication now. See if it's warped then.
Yeah.
Mid-May. So that's test fit 3, and it's a little bit off. It's a little bit too high on this side. I think it did tweak it ever so slightly when laying down the TIG, but I think I can probably sort it out in adjustment at the V-band that's here and the bracket that's behind here, and I should be able to get that in pretty much the same position as it was before. I'm going to just take it all apart again and get all the welding finished. So I found part of the reason why the tip on this side at the end of the exhaust was a bit higher than I wanted it to be is because the V-band wasn't actually engaged properly despite being done up really tight. And yeah, despite being extremely careful when welding this and having the other side of the V-band connected and clamped down really hard, which is basically what you do to give yourself the best chance of not warping the flanges, because being stainless, they're incredibly susceptible to warping, as is any part of stainless. It's a right pain in the arse. But yeah, this is warped ever so slightly, and it's ever so slightly out of round. It's only 0.2 of a mil, but basically it's 0.2 of a mil too narrow there and fine there. So I've basically been filing the other side of it by hand, just with a file, a bastard file as they're called, trying to get this slimmer in the correct area. But yeah, right pain in the arse, and just, you know, goes to show, as far as I know, I did everything right, having it all clamped up properly, and we tried to spread the heat as much as possible. But I'd be interested to know if there is any way around this, if there's anything else that we should be doing, like, you know, super preheating stuff before we weld, or quite what, because yeah, this is a regular occurrence unfortunately with exhaust fabrication, and with this one in particular, because of the lack of space here, you know, we can't get away with it. It'll seal there, it'll be absolutely fine, but yeah, we can't have even, you know, a fraction of a degree out on that angle, because at the end of this it turns into, you know, 10 mil, 15 mil. So yeah, I'll continue with my filing and we'll get this sorted. We always like to show you the lethal tools. This one's particularly good fun. It's called a wuzzer. That's quite enough of that. That is looking much better. I'm not after perfect. The inside of the exhaust would be nicer if we'd have back purged whilst welding, but ain't nobody got time for that. But yeah, basically just taking all the high spots off, make sure that there's no massive steps in it anywhere, and it's yeah, it's looking really good. So I think I'm pretty much ready to put the turbo back on. I've sorted out these a little bit, all the cuts that I made, and the hammering. So that's a bit nicer. Yeah, should probably just start assembling it now. Make a mess of priming this. So, moment of truth, got the oil drain disconnected. So what I'm hoping to see is I start the car and in a short amount of time we start seeing oil dripping out of here. There's going to be no revving, and obviously it's got no exhaust on it, so it's going to sound pretty horrific. But yeah, let's fire it up. Sounds beautiful. So yeah, pretty happy with that. That's a decent amount of oil coming out of it. I can attach the oil drain now and carry on putting the exhaust together. It's time to use a proper locking nut on the V-band now. Much easier to use a non-locking one whilst you having to take it on and off all the time. Pretty happy with that. Only one thing left to do, start it up and see whether it sounds any different. I'm super happy with that. That sounds awesome. Notably quiet compared to the old system. Hopefully good for my poor old ears, but still pretty damn rowdy. It is, after all, only a small box on it. And when it's on load, obviously, it'll sound very different. It's not Promodet quality, but you know, for an amateur, it's I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It looks awesome, sounds awesome, and should stay on the car. So next will be intake. I'm waiting on some aluminium pipe, some bends and the filter, so that I can get that tucked up inside the wheel arch in there. That's going to be another bit of fabrication. So yeah, I guess that'll about do it. Thanks very much for watching. Please give us a like if you like the video, and make sure you're subscribed. My personal Instagram is philmorrisondw. We've got @Driftworks as well. And check out the shop. My sales manager keeps reminding me that I should probably plug merch or something, at least something to remind you that we are a shop that sells stuff. So yeah, check out driftworks.com and see whether there's anything you like there. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
At Driftworks, we've helped over 50,000 happy customers since 2004. Our huge online parts store is simple to use, with superb shipping rates to anywhere in the world, and finance options available for UK customers. We live and breathe wheel fitment, so if you have any questions about your own car or any of our products before placing an order, please drop us an email at shop@driftworks.com or give us a call. Thanks for watching.